a wonderful person on the app. Okay. Where you at, girl? Where you at, girl? I know she's on her lunch break. So thank you for taking the time to squeeze the exclusive interview in. All right. Hello, standby Dan. Um, Ladies and gentlemen, please give a warm welcome to Miss Randie.
Hello. Hi,
I got
everybody.
what's up. All right, how you doing, Miss Randy?
I'm all right. I'm just sneaking off into an office here at work. So, yeah.
Got you. All right, so let's get started. I don't want to delay anymore. Um, Tell me how'd you get to this app?
How'd I get to this app? Well, I was on just like the dating portion of POF
Mhm.
for years, just like, talking to people, whatever. And then one day, my daughter, who some of y'all know, was like, hey, you can live stream over there. And I was like, really? So I did. And then about a year and a half into it or less, she was like, you need to leave that app. You are spending money and it's ridiculous. And I was like, okay, well, let's go and go to this streamer meetup, a yacht party. So she was like, I do not want to meet any streamers. That is just like not me. And I was like, just we'll have a mother daughter trip. So last January, not this past one, but last year, we went down to Miami, met up with the Wild Things, Tarzan, Jordan, and all them on a yacht party.
Mhm.
And we got on the yacht. I looked over and thank you. She was streaming, and I was like, what is really going on here? And some of y'all know that she is now a top badge or a royal badge on the app. And yeah, so it's kind of like a little family thing now.
So your daughter told you about this app,
About the streaming part, yes.
and it was recently when I found out who your daughter was. I was like, wow, that's crazy. I had no idea.
Yeah.
I
When I
had,
saw her on there, I was like, girl, what are
I
you
had
doing?
a daughter twerking in my music video. How crazy
I
is
don't know
that?
where she learned to act like that. I really have no idea because we are very just like a calm
Something
family.
tells me she get it from her mama.
I don't think so,
So we
y'all.
are
I am
out.
I am a very calm person.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about Miss Randy. Miss Randy, where'd you grow up? From as far as
And
you remember, like what was your household dynamics? Who was in your household when growing up? Every day.
um grew up country. North Dakota. So like, people are like, you guys have phones there? Yes, we do. So grew up North Dakota, brother, sister, mom, dad, parents divorced when I was young because my dad's a gigolo. No,
Mm, you love
but so but then I lived a lot of different places after that. Well, even growing up, a lot of places, and then I met my kid's father in high school, like as a senior or whatever. And after that, like so, I've lived North Dakota, Minnesota, Arizona, Utah, Colorado, Iowa, Oklahoma. Um, just moved a lot, did a lot of different things, and moved around a lot.
so let's bring it back. You grew up and you was born and raised where?
Mostly North Dakota, some Minnesota, a little bit Colorado, but
North.
mostly North Dakota. Hmm.
Who when you what did you have both of your parents around? That's
Yeah, I mean, they divorced when I was 10. But like my dad was around. So, we spent time with my father and then lived with my mother full time. I have a
where,
sister who's 10 years younger and no, a sister who's 14 months younger, a brother who's 10 years younger.
oh, so you're the oldest.
Hmm. Hmm.
So you're the firstborn.
Hmm.
So tell us a little bit about, okay, you had both of your parents, were they married?
Yeah, they got married because my mom got blessed by me when she was in high school. So, but yeah, they got married
Like
and
married?
yep, they got married right then, like before I was born, and then stayed together until I was 10. And like both my brother and sister are full biological mother and father. Hmm.
Got you. Okay. So so now you're in elementary. Both of your parents is there, it's just you, and you're in school. Can you tell us a little bit about, like, as much as you could remember, how was it for you being in elementary school?
In elementary school.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Well, like y'all, my name is Randie, but Randie's my real name. So like growing up as a Randie back like then, like you might run into more women now, but like people would be like Randie, and I'm like here, no Randie, not Brandy, not Mandy, not Candy, and I was like Randie. So yeah, so I guess, and then we moved like a lot growing up too, and so I think I went to like 13 different schools growing up. So it
Wow.
was just like I became like easy to adapt to things and like, things like that. But that's about it.
So so you moved a lot. Was
Mhm.
there like a moment where it's like you kind of didn't want to move, but you had to move, or like losing out on friends and stuff like that, or
I don't think that was like even a thought back then. It was just the way life was. It was like, all right, time to go, you know. But then, like I said, I did all that moving, but I ended up being in the same like school district from like fifth or sixth grade on. So all that moving and stuff was like when I was younger, like
gotcha.
young. And so, but then like I still have one of my best friends I hang out with weekly. We've been friends for thir- um, 30 plus years. So like I've been friends with him since I was 12. So yeah,
So let me ask you, how old are you now?
44.
44. Okay.
Hmm.
So you are 44 years old right now. Take us back to a significant moment that you can remember from being in between elementary um, and younger. What was like a significant moment for you?
Probably like my parents getting divorced was a huge thing for me. Like, cause I was a dad's girl. Like, I hunt and I fished and I did all that stuff. And when my parents got divorced, I was like, yo, and I just took it out on my mother. Like my mother, would want to go out and I was not nice to her. Like I
Mm.
treated her very poorly and was like, how could you do this? And whatever. I
Now,
remember like,
why
physically fighting with her.
did she do this? Was it something she did wrong of why they split?
No, I found out after, like I said, my father, like a gigolo. Like I found out then after the fact that it was my, thank you, my father that, was the reason behind it. But yeah,
Got you. When you found that out, how did that make you feel? Like to know that you treated your mom so poorly because of this, and now you find out it was your dad.
mm, how did I feel? I felt like remorseful, I guess, maybe for the way I treated my mom. But it wasn't even until I was almost 30 years old where me and my mother got a relationship where like I really appreciated her like for who she was and what she did in our family. Yeah. And that is a point like, well, I don't know how far you want me to fast forward, but she ended up like taking custody of my kids when
Oh,
I got in trouble. So like it was only not because of that reason, but like we had started like, and I really realized like what a person would do for their children.
right, right.
Not that, and like, and then kind of to fast forward, like if I could take it back, I would never have my mother adopt my children ever because I lost that relationship as a mother daughter relationship to a friend relationship because she became the mother to my children.
Got you.
So,
Okay, so we're gonna get there.
mhm.
I want to take it back just a little bit more, if you
Mhm.
don't. So now, and now, how was your grades in elementary? Were you passing class stuff?
Um, well, I got voted most likely to fall asleep in class.
Did
um,
you succeed at that?
but no, like I really had like I was good in school until I started hanging out with a different crowd. And
Ah,
then like I wanted to, right, good sleep is good. And then it just became where me, myself, and I was what was important. Like I wanted to be an oceanographer and marine biologist. I could have went to got a scholarship, all that kind of stuff. And then I met my kid's father, and it was just like that wasn't important anymore.
got you. How old were you when you met your kid's father?
When I met him, I can't remember if I was 16 or 17 when I met him, and he was 8 years older. So, yeah.
Got. Let's go to junior high school. I want you to like close your eyes and envision that moment, your first day starting junior high school. What was that moment like for you?
Mm, junior high, like, I don't, it wasn't bad or good. Like, it was just, like, kind of just like what I did. Like, um, I guess I was kind of, like I said, maybe a chameleon for lack of better words and like adaptable. Like, I hung out with the partiers, I hung out with the jocks, I was in choir, like, I'd be singing in church choir and then I'd be in school choir and then I'd be out partying on the weekend, so I was like everywhere in all the places all at once. So,
Got you. So you're in junior high school now. You're starting a brand new school. What would you consider yourself? Would you say you were popular while you was in school, or
well, like I said, like popular and post, like I wasn't a nerd or a geek or like made fun of or anything like that because I like hung out with all the cliques, like I had friends in every group. I was like just, yeah.
okay? So you have friends in every group.
Mhm.
Um, what about relationships? Like in junior high school, when did you experience your first crush?
My first crush, at 40. No, I'm just playing. I don't know. um, like I don't know about my first crush. Like my first real relationship was probably like 16.
So before that, you didn't have any like boys
Mm,
that you had a crush on, or boys had crushes on you. Maybe
mm-mm, mm-mm.
okay, none whatsoever until you turned 16.
No, not that like I recall. Nothing like that stands out. Like
When was
I
your
mean,
first?
Tupac. I mean, if you count him, I mean, like I guess like
So when was your first kiss?
um, I don't know when my first kiss was. Like 15 or 16 probably.
That was your
Hmm.
okay.
Hmm.
All right. So let's bring it there then. So
Maybe 15. Like, and I was just like kind of like whatever, but it wasn't like we wasn't in a relationship or anything. But yeah,
right. Okay. So at this time, what is you're in junior high school now. What is the dynamics between you and your mom?
I was, I still don't like her really, but like she was a means to an end. Like, I remember one time my mother packing my stuff into a thing and telling me,
About her though. What was it?
mm, I don't know. Like I was still just a dad's girl. Like, um, I don't know. I was bigger than my mother. I was taller than my mother. I was like my mom was like 5'2", 5'3". I was 5'8". I got all the way up to 5'11". Like she just like I don't know why, but she just was like nothing to me. And it's really sad. Like and me and her have like had like a lots of talks about it, but it was really sad the way that I treated my mother for many years. Yeah.
Did she ever try to discipline you, like pop you or
Yeah, I remember, like I said, she was smaller than me, and I remember her like sitting on top of me with like this spatula, and she was like, "Get the up," I said, and I'm thinking like, how am I supposed to get up? You're on top of me, like, and so I would just like move her, or like, and I don't know why. Like, I can honestly not say like why I was so rude to my mother. It was a horrible thing, yeah. The
um,
spatula, right?
So so now, all right. So now here you are, junior high school. You're going into high school now. I know you said 15, right? So
Mhm.
what happened at 15?
At 15. Well, like I met that person that like I guess you would like a guy I hung out with, but it wasn't until I was 16 when I met a guy and like I guess got in the relationship. And it was because my mother, I think, and my father both at that time were like, I was the rebel. I was a bad girl. You told me I couldn't do it. I was going to do it.
Hmm.
Like, and so I would be with whoever like my parents wouldn't approve of. So,
So and purposely.
hmm but not know, like not consciously until now I'm an adult realizing that
Right.
that's what I was doing. But yeah,
So tell me about the you were 16 when you met who?
well, his name was Elijah, but yeah, I met him at the mall and we hung out and yeah,
You were 16. How old was he?
he was just a couple of years older, like maybe 18 or 19. I don't really know.
Okay. So you 16. He's about 18 or 19 years old. What happened?
We just partied, like,
What store was you in? Like we want you to paint the picture. We
well,
want you to really tell us
I
this.
don't even, like I said, like,
Were
I
you
don't know if I
very
block
big?
out a lot of this stuff or what. Like, and where I come from, and I don't know about anybody else, but like, going to the mall was like what you did because there was nothing else to do. So you just walk around the mall and people meet other people and that was kind of like and ended up meeting a guy. It wasn't like we didn't have cell phones, we didn't have the internet, we didn't have, it wasn't like you were, hey, what are you gonna no, if you wanted to meet up with your friends, you'd be like, all right, I'll be at the mall on Saturday at noon. And whoever showed up is who you kind of like hung out with. And that was it. Like, and then Friday night, come around, all right, well, this is our plan. And if I'll see you when I see you, it's not like you have a cell phone and you're going to link up later.
Right.
It was like, this is the plan. And if you end up there, you end up there. Like, it's a totally different concept to try to explain to people, like you got a phone booth, you know what I mean? Like you could
Yeah,
put a
yeah.
pay phone and you could put some money in to try to call
This,
somebody, but that's it. Like,
I'm in my late 30s. I know. so so all right. So let's let's bring it to you at the mall, and how did he approach you, or how did you
like I
approach?
said, I don't even know, bro. Like to be real, like
You
I
don't
don't
remember?
even know. No, I do not recall.
Do you
Um,
remember your number?
I don't even know. I honestly do not recall like how I ended up with this whole like group of friends because it wasn't like a long relationship. It wasn't anything like that. It was just kind of he was my boyfriend and then he like would
How
move
long
a lot.
for?
Not even long. I would say months, like months.
Got you. Did
But like we're still like Facebook friends like now. Like you know what I mean? Like he's married and has his life and whatever, but he'll be like, "Hey, I remember you were my first like, whatever." But
yeah? Do you did he take your virginity?
hmm
Okay. So tell us about that moment.
it was awful. It was awful. Because it was like at this ghetto apartment and there was a party going on. I think we were in a hallway or something and I made noise and I remember like, and I was like, whoa, what's going on? He was like, shh. And I was like, whoa, like, I don't know. But
wait,
it was not the
wait,
thing. It
y'all
was not the thing.
hall or y'all was doing it in the hall?
Yeah, but it was like I said, it was this ghetto apartment. Like I don't even know how this apartment existed because like there was like a bathroom, a community bathroom for the apartment. Like I don't know how I ended up where I ended up. Really, I don't.
Oh my goodness. So all right, so here we go. You're at this ghetto apartment. You wind up doing it with
hmm
your ex boyfriend, right? But your boyfriend during the time. What was the thoughts that went through your head?
You were asking some questions like nobody told me I had to remember my past like this.
Yeah,
Like,
this is an autobiography of your
well,
life.
yeah, but like my autobiography, I believe, like starts at like 18, not before. Like, I don't know.
This autobiography starts the moment you were conceived.
Um, yeah, so okay, like to be blatant, I remember losing my virginity. I was like, this is why people are prostitutes because having sex is fun. Like, I remember that part. And
Mm.
then, like, maybe, you know, enjoying it more after that. But if that, how that inquiring minds like to know.
So, say your first time was a good experience because you thought it was fun.
Well, I mean, not even fun, I guess. It felt right. Like, that's why people want to get paid for it. Like, that's what I remember thinking. Like, as time went on, like,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. I got you. All right. So now let's move up. Moving on up. All right. Let's go to high school.
mhm.
You're in high school now. What changed? What's different about Randy?
Randy just didn't really care. Um, Randy did, like, I would skip class. I started, I was smoking, I was drinking, I was doing anything. And well, no, I was just really smoking and drinking then. Um, but like I didn't care who I hurt. Like I was saying, I remember my mother like telling me to get the fuck out of her house, packing my bags, putting them outside. Me and my sister running away, but then her calling the cops on us. Like so. Um, yeah.
Were you missing your dad?
Um, I think to a point, but then I went to live with my dad for a short time, like maybe a weekend I left, like because I was like, I need to go back to mom's because dad has way too many rules, way too many rules. Like I don't want to be with mom, but it's easier to live at mom's than it was to live at dad's.
You could do what you want.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah, it was like the rock and the hard place, I guess.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. So now take us through. You're still being a pain in the behind. Okay, you're giving your mom a hard time. What age were you when you went to your dad's to try to live there?
I think I was like 17, 16, 16 or 17 when I tried that.
Had your
And
dad do a beeline and go back to your mom's house?
yeah, and like I said, like I don't remember times very well,
Hmm.
but it wasn't very long that I lived there, and he was just like, "These are the rules. This is what you're gonna do, whatever." And I was like, "I need to go back to my mom's house right now." Like,
Rules.
yeah, and I
I,
mean, she had rules too, but it was like then mom started working overnights, and I could have parties at night, and do that kind of thing where you couldn't get away with that at my father's.
got you. So, what happened after?
Mm, then I remember like, so my favorite movies were like Boys in the Hood, Menace Society. And I remember like going to these parties and I was like, yo, I would never do those types of drugs. And I would never do that kind of thing. Like that was just me, right? I was like, and I went to a party and they were like putting drugs out and I was like, you guys are me sucking dicks for lines and blah, blah, blah. Like I had cheeseburger and all this shit. And I was like, no, this is not my thing. And then I met my kid's father and he was from a different state as well. And he was like, I have this. And I looked at my friend, I was like, we should get some. And she was like, okay. And then I just started partying and yeah, it just was like whatever I did. And
What was this that he had?
at that time, they called it crank. And I had done coke then after that. And yeah.
Got you. So, after you did that, what was the feeling that you felt?
Mm. At that point in time, it was just like, it wasn't to escape. It was maybe, and it wasn't to fit in. I think maybe originally, like I said, I did it because he had asked, because I was so against anything. But he had asked, and he was this older guy and all these things. But then it was after that, it was just like the thing to do. It was like how we hung out, I guess. I don't know.
Right.
And then I'm sorry, I just saw the time. It's like I only have like 15 minutes. So because my lunch is gonna be over. But
How,
like
how did you feel about him?
at first it was like um we hung out. I just did whatever. He was an older guy. I was in high school. Well, I remember my father calling him one time. I was like, listen, here, Bubba, you get away from my daughter. I'm calling the cops. So we stopped talking completely. The day after I turned 18, I contacted him, and I ended up moving in with him the day after that. And I moved in with him and his wife, well, the girlfriend at the time, but and I was the nanny for their children. And yep, so like my life started like
Oh my God, he had a whole girl. And then you moved in. Did she know you guys were messing around and
Mhm,
that she was okay? Was he
mhm.
like a kind of like
No, well, like after that we became like Mormon, Latter Day Saint. He just figured like whatever, like, but then like after that, like I realized like looking back on it, like, I mean, he slept with my coworkers, he slept with my best friend. He like that's just what it was, and yeah.
yeah, he was a Rolling Stone?
hmm
How did that make you feel
At the time, like I just didn't care. I was young and whatever, but then I ended up pregnant,
by him?
and hmm yeah.
Okay. Did you keep the baby?
hmm
Is that yeah,
hmm
have now?
hmm Yeah, all three of my kids have the same father. Yeah.
Okay. And
Yep.
and that
So I stayed with him for 10 years.
you was with him for 10 years and he was
hmm
still with the other woman.
hmm
So you was in a poly because technically you was with her too.
Not well. I mean, I guess if you want to consider it that, like, I wasn't happily like that, but yeah.
I
I
mean,
mean,
where both of y'all
so
at the same time?
what was that?
Was there moments where both of y'all slept with him at the same time?
Mm-mm. He
It was okay.
wanted he wanted that, but he was like, and I was like, no, I'm not into women. There's fine, but I'm not. He was like, you're just not old enough to know what you want yet. And I was like, okay, well, it's not going to change. But um, yeah, I was never
Was
with her.
she okay with it?
What?
Would she have been okay with it if you said yes?
Yes. hmm
Got you. Thank you, guys. So, so
But
now,
yeah, he was the type of person that like made me believe. He would be like, why didn't your parents tell me I was getting with a moron? Or like he was very like controlling, abusive verbally. Well, and then it turned meant physically, and like I tried to leave him over those years for multiple times. And he like would literally like I packed up from moving from one city in a state, and he followed me. He would threaten to like kill my family if I left him. And like, so like our relationship was more of like me protecting what I thought was me saving my grandmother's life because he was going to kill her, or him digging my grave outside of our home, like to tell me he was going to put me in that grave if I left. So I stuck for like what I looked at as like I was trying to save my family, but I was more scared than anything probably.
got you. You said to me that something happened at the age of 18, or was it 19?
Well, that's when like the whole like I got pregnant and I was with him, and yeah, I mean like it wasn't like I thought that this was going to be like my life, and he wasn't like this ideal guy that I wanted to be with forever. It was just like what happened. And like I look back on it and I'm like the most beautiful thing that ever came from him was the children I have. And I like people are like, "Oh, don't you hate him or whatever?" I'm like, whatever his life is on in his path, he can work it out with God.
Right.
That's about me and him. I'm blessed to have the children I have, and if anything would have been different, I wouldn't have my kids. So,
Got you. So tell me now, you're having that moment. Did the other woman have any kids by him?
the one he originally was living with that I became the nanny for were her kids, not his.
Okay.
Um, he did have kids during the time that we were together. Last I knew, he probably had like 14 or 15 that I know of.
Oh,
His son lived with us at one time. I was 18 and his son was 10. And me and his son still talk, and he calls me mom and stuff. But yeah.
Okay. So now you have kids of your own with this man,
Hmm.
which father. And what is what happened that your kids needed to
Go
go
to my
with?
mother. Well, I was like, I had sent them to live with my mom a couple times because I was, like I said, I started using drugs, and then it became like I had to sell drugs
Mm.
because if I didn't have them, I would get my ass beat. And so I just started selling drugs, and I ended up getting federally indicted, and was on the path of trying to get my kids back prior to that because I had sent them to live with my mom and the state took custody. And then my mom became a foster parent and took them. And so I was going to get them back, and then I got indicted. And then they said that because I was looking at the time I was looking at, that they weren't going to allow me to get them back. And so my mother adopted them. And I ended up going to federal prison.
How long were you in there for?
I did a total of 25 months when I first got indicted. I was looking at 15 to 20 years. And because not a ton of people, and like I'm a very open person, I tell people whatever, but like there's parts that like aren't my story to tell. And so I don't. But yeah, I ended up getting time off of my sentence for telling on my kids' father for some stuff that he had done in our lives. Not like people will say, oh, it's a snitch. Well, no, when somebody beats you and does what they do. Does she want me to hold on or keep talking?
All right,
Okay.
I'm I'm freezing in here. Donna likes it cold. I like it hot. I can't. All right.
But yeah, so like, people can call it snitching or whatever, but like when it comes to do with your family, your life, and whatever, I wasn't going to allow that person to be any more destructive into our lives. And so, yes, I testified in court against my kid's father, and they gave me 9 years off my sentence in a federal sentence for some state stuff he did. And so I was looking at 15 to 20. They gave me 4 with the treatment program I did. I ended up getting out in 25 months or whatever, and then got paper for a while. So yeah.
Gotcha. What did that moment tell you or
What
teach you? What
what
did that
like getting indicted and stuff like that?
get to all of that and everything and happened to
Um,
your mom?
it's been different things throughout the years, like little like clarity moments or whatever. Because like at the time, I remember people like gonna lose their kids or like and people saying things like, "Can you just," and me included, like, "Can you just pull your shit together for your kids? Like you love your kids, why can't you whatever?" And then it was happening to me, and it wasn't because I didn't love my kids. It wasn't because I did like I just could not pull my shit together. I couldn't. Like I didn't know how to live a different life other than the one I was living. When I went into um, prison, I knew how to be the mom that I was being. I knew how to be a wife. I knew how to be all these things. And now I got released from prison, and I was no longer a wife. I was no longer, because me and him ended up getting married too, but I was no longer a wife. I was no longer a mother. I was no longer a daughter because my mom had taken my kids. So like I had to learn how to be who I was.
Right. Did your relationship when you got out, how did your mother allow you to see your kids?
My mother, like I know some people, then their parents would be like, "Oh, well, this state says you can't see your kids, but you can." Or my mother would like, she was a very like, nope. So like I missed like my brother's graduation because I wasn't allowed to be around unless it was a visitation time, or I did miss a lot of different things. But when I got out, I remember saying that, like, I'm going to do this and I'm going to do this because this is the way life should be. Like, I remember walking miles to my daughter's volleyball game. I remember, like, when my mom was like, "What are you going to do?" And I was like, if I was willing to go to any means or lengths to sell and do drugs and be with this man, then I should be able to do that for the people that I love, and that was my kids. So like I made an effort to go above and beyond that, or at least try, to be like, and you said that moment of clarity. It was like it actually um, almost happened like a few years even ago. Like my daughter saying to me, like, will you stop saying that you're bad? Because I'll be like, I'm so sorry for the life you had, and I'm so sorry for wrecking your life. And she was like, will you stop? You know that you've never wrecked our lives. You were doing the best you could with what you had to save our lives. And it wasn't until that moment that I realized, like, I really was trying. She was like, don't remember you being a bad mom. I remember dad locking us in the room and you getting your ass beat because you tried to feed us. I remember you going above and beyond to try to make sure we were okay. And that's why, and so, like, it wasn't that, like, that I have to remind myself, like, I wasn't a bad mom. I could have done things differently. But with the situation I was in, I was doing everything I could to try to make sure my kids were okay. And the fact that my daughter could see that was like huge for me, like, because it took somebody outside of myself to say that to me.
Right.
I love your face. But yeah, so my daughter and me have like an amazing relationship. She knows everything about me, and I know too much about her for probably what most mothers would want to know about their daughters. But hey, um,
What is
I
relationship status now?
my relationship status is single, and I always say like, um, it would take like a person telling me like, you can stay at home, not have to work. You can have a dog. You can have a hot tub. You can have you can have a masseuse. You can do whatever you want and however you want, and it's all paid for me to ever get married. Now, will I be in a relationship? Probably, but for me
Right.
to get married again, like, it's a piece of paper to me, and I will never be with anybody that is not honest. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I would rather you be like, you know what, I'm in a whole ass relationship, but can we be together? I will have more respect for you
Right.
than find
Right.
out that you lied about it.
Right.
I
Honesty is.
will, yep. I will never be with somebody that lays hands, like, because I've been
Mm.
there. And the minute, like, and I'm not saying that I didn't do the same, like, stuff, but if you put your hands on me, if you're not honest and you're not hardworking, like, it's not even going to work. So,
After that, did you get into another relationship? Did you find yourself in another?
yeah, um, I was in another relationship. I've actually only I've only been in a handful of relationships. I've told 3 people my entire life I love them. My entire life. My kid's father, one other person, and then one that saved my son's life. He was going to commit suicide, and he saved his life. And so I was like, I love you, and he was like, I knew it. And I was like, no, I mean, I don't think I love you. I love the idea that you
Mm.
saved my son's life. But yeah, so I would be in a relationship, but just like until that person, like, and it sucks though, because like I'm always so like skeptical of people.
Right.
It sucks to be in that part too. So
Got you. All right, ladies and gentlemen, in a few moments, we're going to open up the floor to questions. So please start to prepare your questions or hit the plus sign coming as a guest and ask your questions. I will allow you guys questions to go first. Okay. I know you don't have much time. So, Miss Randy, I'm going to speed it up. Is there anything that I didn't ask you that you would like to tell us?
um, you guys just please be nice to people. Like, be friendly to people. Like, it it takes more to be rude. Like, it takes more energy to be malicious than it would ever take to just like be it. Like, people like are going through some things, like, and not everybody is for everybody. Like,
Right.
everybody is somebody though. They might not be your somebody, but every single person
Right.
is somebody else's somebody. Like, they might be your neighbors, uncles. Everybody has somebody else in life. They don't have to be your somebody.
Got you. What has life biggest lesson taught you?
Um, that like you have the power to change, and don't let anybody ever tell you differently. Like, you know, when I got out and you have these labels of felon, addict, lost your kids, abuse, you know, like, yeah, those might, but they don't have to be my baggage. I don't have to carry that. Like, I can do anything that any one of you can do. Well, I might not be able to go to Canada, but whatever, you know, like, other than that, like, don't everybody tell you that you can't do something, because if there was enough hard work and enough whatever, you can do anything you want to.
Period. So my last question to you is, I remember in the beginning you said you treated your mom horrible. After everything she's done for you and taking your kids in, have you ever gotten the opportunity to have that heart to heart conversation, and what was that like?
Oh, for sure. Like, me and my mother like became like this. Like, she's had now had like a stroke, and she has a lot of things going on in her life, and so like I have to mentally remind myself that like she's not the same person, but like she's amazing, you know, and I'm so grateful for her. But like I said, if I could go back, I would have never said, "Mom, can you take my kids?" Because
So
of the burden that it puts on somebody. And like my whole family, like my sister and my brother have said to me, like, yo, we didn't get to have our mom because she was busy. Like, my mother, you guys, my youngest just graduated from high school. My mother has had a kid in their house for 43 years. My mother was raising children for 43 years, you know. And so my sister, like my mother, didn't get to be a grandmother to her son because she was busy being a mom to my kids.
mm,
And so, like, just remembering all that and, like, you know, all that, it's like, it's nobody's job to take care of what you should be taking care of. Now, if things happen, it is fine. But remember that everybody is dealing with life on grace and their own grace and their own terms. And, like, just like it goes up back to that being kind. Like, just like be kind with people because they're all going through their own things.
gotcha. Any questions from the audience? If you have a question, you can take the box.
They were like, no, get this boring old lady off the screen.
No, they're really. Any questions, guys, from the audience? All right, we have someone coming into the box to ask a question.
I love you.
Oh, wait. It says you're a guest in the box, but I don't see you.
I
Do you
don't
see
see.
the box? Okay,
Uh-uh.
there we go. Let's try that again.
It's Randie. I love your face. My question is, do you realize that you're helping people out whenever you stream, and when somebody's going through something, do you realize that? That's just my question. You help me out. I just want to say that.
I don't. Just a little history on me and Dan. Like, he came to my stream, I guess, and I shared a story about my life back when I first started. He
Mm,
remembered it and then came back and told me, like, before he was everybody, this standby Dan that everybody knows. I knew him. He had like no ring and a pizza in this thing, you know, like.
mhm.
And do you realize that don't be afraid of your past, you guys. Don't be afraid of your past because your stories can help people.
Mm. There, any questions, Donna, before we close out? Donna's all got you got Donna all emotional back there. She's like, oh, like people.
I told myself I wasn't going to get emotional. I held it together well, you guys. I held it together.
You,
Okay.
you did a really good job. I'm so happy that you took the opportunity to share your story with us, because there are some people that definitely went, and I've seen a lot of people relating to your story in the comments and stuff like that. So you're
And like, you guys, if I didn't have to be at work and like have to go back, like, and anytime that anybody ever has a question for me, anytime that you would like to talk further, like, I don't would tell my story to anybody, because like if it helped one person, it was worth it.
the box again. Okay, here we go. We have a question from the audience.
If I may give a word of encouragement, sometimes people pray for things in life, but they don't realize the sacrifice it's going to take in order to get that blessing. So we need to remember that though we go through fire, though we go through trials and tribulations, that not only strengthens us to be the best that we can be, but to be able to empower other people through our suffering. So it takes strong people to suffer. So I give God all the praise and glory for all of us out there who are survivors, who have overcome things in life, and many blessings to you, to all of you out there. And with love and happy Valentine's Day to all of you. Have a wonderful
Thank
day.
you.
You too. Thank
Thank you.
Thank you.
you. Okay. Miss Randie, what are your plans? Last question, and then last two questions. What are your plans for the future on this app or off the app?
Mhm. My plans on the app, honestly, like I say it all the time. If my daughter were to tell me that we are leaving the app today and that she was going to delete her account, I might. I say I would, but I say I might because I don't want to be a liar.
Right.
But not because I haven't met amazing people, but because I feel like I should sometimes get back to reality. And sometimes when I'm on this app, I live like in a different like reality kind of,
Yeah.
like I didn't start this app when a lot of people did, like the COVID times or like when you couldn't go outside and streaming was a thing. Like I started coming on this app and I started like not going out with my friends and not going to real dinners and not doing things because I was so stuck on this phone and the people that have become my friends. But now I'm looking, like my friend would say to me, she was like, when's the last time you went out and had, I was like, I just talked to so and so the other day. They're like, no, in person, in
Right.
person. And so, like, that's the hard part for me is like that.
My last question to you is, how did opening up to us make you feel?
It makes me want to do it more because and then I do. But like, because there for a while when I got out of prison, I would go to the prisons and I would go to centers and I would speak to people because life can change for anybody and don't let anybody tell you different. And so like that kind of thing like gets me like this is what I need to get back to doing. But maybe I could just do it on a different level.
Most definitely. Ladies and gentlemen, please, if you haven't already, please hit Miss Randie with a favorite. Okay. Also, like if you want to see her, please, Miss Randie, let them know when you stream so they can come and check you out. And if you
Uh,
have questions for her,
Yeah. So I don't have like a set time. I'm, and whatever. I used to have like a show that I did on Tuesdays and it was called Experience, Strength, and Hope. Like kind of like that when you experience this, tell me your strength and where do you get your hope from? And I don't do that anymore. But yeah, just catch me whenever. I work Monday through Friday during the day, so that's not gonna be when I'm streaming, so like it'll be after that.
all
And if
right.
you want to catch me anywhere, stand by Dan's live if I'm not live.
Here she is. All right, Miss
All
Randie,
right.
thank you so much for taking some time during your break to
Yeah.
talk to us. Guys, ladies and gentlemen, Miss Randie, y'all, if y'all got any love to send her, send it
All
right.
spaces. You guys, I appreciate you, Roll. Thank you. Thank you. You guys have an amazing day.
You too. Bye bye. All right. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, if you would like to be on exclusive interview, Medusa is in the comments. He just clapped his hands right now. The last comment you see there. He is a manager in here. Royal Badge Medusa. Please make sure you message him, but please also do me a solid. And that solid I would like you to do me is to follow me here. Follow me on Instagram. Follow me on YouTube, guys, because we do post the videos soon. Everything that you would like to do, like you would be able to go if you want to be on any of my shows, you'll be able to go to rolemodelfresh.com and select what show you would be on, and we'll contact you through that way. Just came in, missed the interview.